Hello, and welcome to Vow, Voices of Wisdom, the show that might not be for everybody, but everybody needs to watch this show. And I'm your host, Brenda Simmons. I'd like to say Happy New Year to everybody. And I'm coming up actually on my first year of doing Voices of Wisdom. And I would like to thank LTV and the staff for their assistance in the great year coming and another year coming up. The show is generally about relationships, and I'm going to read relationships are everything simply because they are all that exists. Nothing has meaning until you decide how it relates to you and how you relate to it. It is the process of making these associations that would determine the outcome of our experiences in life. And today we're going to have a flute-lationship. And my guest today is Dwayne Kerr. How are you today?
Good, Brenda.
I am excited today to do this show. I've known you for a little bit now, and you've performed at a few events that I've had, and I'm excited that you're back here in the States and catch you up so you can come on my show.
Yep.
And I just want to give us a little background of where you grew up at and how you came about having a relationship with the flute.
I grew up in Central Islip, and I went to school there, graduated from there. Basically, the flute came about, like around 4th grade, 5th grade. They say pick an instrument,
right.
that kind of thing. And at that point, I kind of already liked girls, but I was like very shy. And so I thought to myself, flute or clarinet, because a lot of girls play those instruments. And so I got those two choices, and then it came right down to it. And then I thought to myself, well, it's just girls with the flute. So, so I picked the flute really because of that. But it didn't really help me much. But that's why I kind of originally picked it.
And did you go to school to learn music, or that was just something that came up, or you went to some kind of program? Explain how you got your expertise.
Yes, I went to school for music. I grew up listening to like Herbie Mann, Bobby Humphrey, Hubert Laws, because my father was like a kind of a jazz guy, and then I started to learn about these different flutists, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I found out about some other programs at the time, International Art of Jazz and Jazzmobile, and where it's like professional jazz musicians, and they gave you like master classes and stuff like that that I was involved with. But I never understood that you could go to school for it, like to go to college. And then I found out, like you could study this in college. And then so that's what I did. Initially I went to Nassau, and I graduated from there. And from there I went to Westbury and went to C.W. Post for a little bit, and I also went to Stony Brook. So.
But some people know and some people don't know that you are the flutist for Erykah Badu. So
Right.
How did that come about?
That was really God just worked that out for me. There was a friend that I had known for quite a while. He's an engineer, and he mixes the sound. When you go to the show, he's the one that mixes the sound. And he had been working with a lot of different artists, and then he started working with Erykah when she first came out. And then he told me, he said, she's looking for a horn player, and he told me where they was having rehearsals. It was in the city. And he said, come down, bring your flutes. I told him, you come in. And that's what I did. And from that point on, I've been with Erykah. So.
And how long have you been with her?
It's like 14 years now. Yeah.
And you have traveled all over the world, basically.
Right.
Give us a few highlights of some of your travels with her and your performances. One that really kind of sticks out that you really enjoyed.
Wow, there's so many different things that I've experienced. I went to Brazil maybe about a year ago, and I got to see the statue of Jesus, on the mountain.
Yeah.
That was really something, It was just like, wow, So that's a fond memory for me. Just a lot of different things, I got to go to Rome, and see that, and just so many different places. Even in the States, I've gotten to see a lot of different places that I wouldn't have normally, visited or
Right.
had the money to do or thought to do it.
Right.
So a lot of different things. I would say the first time I played Radio City, that was like, wow, Radio City, So, and that happened like in my first like 2 weeks with her.
Really?
Yeah, so that was kind of
Wow.
like really,
That
really
was
kind of
big.
was, yeah,
That was big.
yeah, yeah.
I also recall a wonderful video you did. Where were you in that video? Was it by the water? You was walking on the water playing
Oh, yeah, Barbados.
Barbados.
And yeah, we was doing a jazz festival over there some years ago, and the person who was doing videography for Erica is also a friend of mine, and he said, I was working on this project, Higher Calling at the time, and he said, why don't we shoot a video while we're over there on our downtime? So we got up early in the morning and we started shooting that video on the beach there, which was, it was like right there at the resort that we were staying at. So it was really beautiful.
It's a great video.
Thank you.
It's a great video.
Thank you.
Talking about Higher Calling, tell me a little bit why you use that title, Higher Calling. What does that mean to you?
Well, to me, what it's talking about Philippians 3, and it talks about that, I press to the mark, of Jesus Christ, the high calling of God. So that's really what it means to me. The reason why I entitled my CD Higher Calling is because basically it was only God that really allowed me to have the life that I do right now. And I mean, it's really kind of a long story, but it was God that worked it out. And I mean, I've early on, like I was able to meet with Kirk Whalum before I ever was with Erica. And at the time, I was really considering seriously getting out of the music business.
Really?
Yeah, and Kirk, convinced me to stay. He listened to my demo. We're talking cassette tapes, so just so you know how long ago that was, right? And he listened to my demo, and he said, no, you should stick with it, And I didn't know at the time that he was a man of faith, but I came to find out later that he was. So it was always God working, here and there and doing things with me in my musical, career. So.
Awesome. You use several different types of flutes.
Right.
Tell us a little bit of different flutes that you use.
Right. I play like the conventional flute that people know about, the metal flute. It's silver. It's called a C flute. And I also play a larger one, which is called the alto flute. And then I would say towards the end of 2010, I was contacted by a company, and they're doing like a new type of flute. It's actually, they call it like a plastic flute. It's actually a composite. So it's not metal at all. It's basically all plastic.
Really?
And yeah, and it looks like a regular flute, but it's all plastic, and it sounds very much like a wood flute.
Oh.
Which I always wanted a wood flute. So so I've been playing that flute. The company's called Gaio, and the flute's Grenadite. It's called Grenadite, and I'll be playing it later on when I play some songs for you. But it's really has a very beautiful sound.
That's cool. That's cool. It's a song that I really love. You almost do like a beatbox in it. I mean, is that something? I believe that's an original of a Dwayne Funky Fluteman. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of flutists out there that's doing this beatbox thing right now. It's just something that I wanted to incorporate on the CD, and I did a version of Chameleon, and I did it, beatboxing, with the flute.
And how many albums do you have out?
I have 2 out.
And the names are?
The
the
first one is Flute-Lation,
right,
and the second one is called Higher Calling.
And what